Donald Trump announced today that he is going to very soon be sending education back to the states. Now, he also cheered Texas for passing a school voucher program. And the voucher thing, that is just basically saying instead of sending your tax money to the public school, you want to put your tax dollars to work at the private school, which private schools have their own criteria as far as who can be enrolled, who gets education, what they cover. They have to meet some state guidelines, yes, but they can cover things any way they want. Um, Mostly, they're used in a religious setting where, say, it's a Catholic private school, they can have religion be a required class at every grade level, and then you must take certain religion classes, and they teach you about their faith. Now, he's cheering all that. But he says he's sending education back to the states. Now, he's going to do this probably by executive order. And if he thinks he's going to dismantle a federal government agency like the Department of Education with executive order, that's not how that works. That would take Congress. But what is he going to send back to the states? If he's talking curriculum, that's already set at the state level. The federal government, through the Department of Education, typically handles making sure buildings are ADA compliant, handling any sorts of complaints about students not being allowed to attend for one reason or another, and making sure things like IEPs and extra help, things like that, are being handled so all students have a chance to learn. When it comes to curriculum, that is handled at the state level already, and it always has been. The federal government has never handled curriculum. But this is typical Republican, typical Donald Trump. He's going to try to find a win out of something that is not a win, something that he didn't actually do. He's going to say, well, see, I sent education back to the states. States can make their own decisions about education when they already can. I've seen creators on here talking about how they grew up in the South. They went to Southern schools, and they were taught that the Civil War was the war of Northern aggression, that the North started it. It doesn't talk about the South having succeeded first. And how can we, even talk to some of these people and be on common ground when we're not even taught the same things, and the things that they believe or how events happened are not, they're not fully informed. That's always going to be a problem. The other thing the federal government does with the Department of Education is they handle grants and loans when it comes to college education. And I don't know how that would work getting sent back to the states. They've talked about switching it to another department, but if they switch it to another department, that's part of the plan, is so fewer people actually access it and making sure it's harder to get to. So we'll see what he does in the coming days, but he wants to kick the education back to the states so he can claim a win.